This is a digital story about the life of John F. Kennedy. John Fitzgerald Kennedy was born on May 29, 1917, in Brookline, Massachusetts. He was the second of 9 children. He was raised in the Catholic Church and in the political precepts of the Democratic Party. The Kennedy family demanded physical and intellectual competition among the siblings. JFK's father, Joseph, acquired a great fortune in banking, shipbuilding, and the film industry. He was also very involved in the stock market. His mother, Rose, was the daughter of John F. Fitzgerald, who was once the mayor of Boston. John F. Kennedy enrolled at Harvard in 1936 and graduated cum laude in 1940. His goal at Harvard was to get a better liberal education, and he also wanted to attend the same college as his father. He developed an interest in political philosophy while he was there. He graduated with a bachelor's degree in government with a concentration in international affairs. In 1941, he joined the U.S. Naval Reserve. Later that year, he joined the staff of the Office of Naval Intelligence in Washington, D.C. He eventually entered the Motor Torpedo Boat Squadron's Training Center in Rhode Island. He was promoted to lieutenant junior grade. In 1946, John F. Kennedy won the Democratic primary and became a U.S. representative. He served in the House for 6 years. In 1952, he ran for Senate and won. Less than a year later, he married Jacqueline Lee Bouvier, or Jackie, on September 12, 1953. She was 12 years younger than him and from a socially prominent family. At the 1956 Democratic National Convention, John F. Kennedy gave the nominating speech for the party's presidential nominee. The convention selected the vice presidential nominee, and John F. Kennedy finished second. Though he did not win, this gained him national exposure. In 1957, John and Jackie Kennedy's first child, Caroline, was born. On January 2, 1960, John F. Kennedy announced his candidacy for the Democratic presidential nomination. Some Americans questioned his age and experience, but his charisma and eloquence earned him many supporters. On Election Day, Kennedy defeated Nixon in one of the closest presidential elections of the 20th century. He also became the youngest person ever, at 43, elected to the presidency. Before his inauguration in 1961, his second child, John Jr., was born. JFK was sworn in as the 35th President of the United States on January 20, 1961. In his inaugural speech, he spoke of the need for all Americans to become active citizens. He said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country," which is where his famous saying comes from. The Kennedys believed that the White House should be a place to celebrate America. Jackie restored all the rooms in the White House to reflect America's history and artistic creativity. On June 11, 1963, JFK proposed a new civil rights bill and went on TV asking Americans to end racism. He made it clear that all Americans, regardless of skin color, should enjoy a happy life in the U.S. President Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, Texas on November 22, 1963. He was traveling in a presidential motorcade through downtown Dallas and was shot by Lee Harvey Oswald. His death caused sadness and grief among many Americans. His brief time in office stands out in people's memories for his leadership, personality, and accomplishments. He was always optimistic about the future and believed people could solve their common problems if they put their country's interests first and worked together.